everyone. My name is Mary Kendall and I'm with the Georgia Fruit and Vegetable Growers Association. Thank you so much for joining us today for our July book reading of the Popcorn Book. Mom, can we make some popcorn? Tony called. Yes, the popcorn's in the refrigerator. Yummy, said Tiny. I wonder why Mom keeps the popcorn in the refrigerator, said Tony. I don't know, but I'm going to go look it up, said Tiny. Here it is, he said. Popcorn is best stored in a tight jar in the refrigerator, so the kernels keep their moisture. Boy, this is interesting. Listen here. Popcorn is the oldest of the three main types of corn. There's field corn, which we feed to animals like cattle and pigs, sweet corn, which is the kind we eat, and popcorn. The indigenous peoples of the Americas discovered popcorn thousands of years ago. The Aztecs called popcorn mamachitl and used it for food and decoration. The Lycanian people of present-day San Salvador ate and sold popcorn and used it as jewelry. Before they arrived in the 15th century, Spanish colonizers had never seen popcorn before. But popcorn is even older than that. In a bat cave in New Mexico, archaeologists found some popcorn that was 5,600 years old. And 1,000-year-old popcorn kernels were found in Peru, and they could still be popped. The indigenous peoples of the America had many different ways to pop popcorn. One way was to put an ear of corn on a stick and hold it over a fire. Oil in the cob could keep the kernels attached even when they popped. The Ho-Chunk, also known as the Winnebago, were particularly fond of oil-popped popcorn on the corn. Another way was to throw the kernels right into the fire by the handful. The popcorn popped all over the place, so there was a lot of bending and running around to gather it up. The people of the Iroquois Confederacy popped corn in clay pots. They would fill the pots with hot sand, throw in some popcorn, and stir it with a stick. And when the corn popped, it came out to the top of the sand and was easy to get out. People of many indigenous nations were fond of popcorn soup. The Algonquians introduced popcorn to English colonists, and the colonists liked it so much that they served popped corn for breakfast with cream poured on it. Today, Americans consume 14 billion quarts of popcorn annually. That's 43 quarts per person. 30% of that is eaten out, at the movies, at ball games, or at county fairs. But 70% is popped right at home. People in the Midwest buy more popcorn than any other part of the United States. Milwaukee and Minneapolis are the top popcorn eating cities, followed by Chicago and Seattle. Now here's the part I read first, said Tiny. Popcorn is best stored in a tight jar in the refrigerator, so the kernels keep their moisture. If the kernels dry out, there will be too many old maids left at the bottom of the pan. Old maids are unpopped kernels. If the popcorn does dry out, you can add 1 or 2 tablespoons of water to the jar and shake it until the water is absorbed. Popcorn only pops because the heart of the kernel is moist and pulpy and surrounded by a hard starch shell. When the kernel is heated, the moisture turns to steam and the heart gets bigger until the shell bursts with a pop. Are you sure you didn't put too much popcorn in the pan? Tiny asks. Of course not, silly, said Tony. Some people tell the story that inside each kernel of popcorn lives a little man, and when his house is heated, he gets so mad that he blows up. There are 3 different kinds of popcorn. White hulless and yellow hulless are the ones most commonly sold in stores. The smallest type is called strawberry because it has red kernels, and the ears look like strawberries. Rainbow has red, white, yellow, and blue kernels, and it's sometimes called calico. There is is black popcorn too, but all of it pops white. The biggest kernels are called dynamite and snow puff. After popcorn is popped, most people like to put melted butter and salt on it. But if salt is put into the pan before the kernels are popped, it makes the popcorn tough. There are many stories about popcorn. One of the funniest and best known comes from America's Midwest. One summer, it was so hot and dry that all the popcorn in the fields began to pop. In no time at all, the sky was filled with flying popcorn. It looked so much like a blizzard, everyone put on their mittens and their scarves and got out the show snuffles. "Help! I have a blizzard too!" yelled Tony. "I knew you put too much popcorn in that pan," said Tiny. "Okay, if you're so smart, what do we do now?" "I know," said Tiny. The best thing about popcorn is eating it. Thank you all so much for joining us today. I hope you learned a lot about popcorn. I know that I sure did. When you're at the grocery store these next few weeks, make sure that you're checking your labels and buying Georgia grown produce because Georgia grows it best. Thanks everyone. Have a great day.